Super Paper Mario is the latest entry in Nintendo's RPG branch of the Mario franchise. The game is developed by Intelligent Systems, who developed 2004's Paper Mario Thousand Year Door for the GameCube, and they're following up with this new Wii title that was originally slated to hit the GameCube but has since moved on to the Wii. Regardless of what platform it was meant to be on, it's a great little game. This time out, Mario isn't actually trying to rescue anybody who's been kidnapped. He is in fact trying to stop the destruction of all worlds. A brand new villain, Count Bleck, who we meet early on, is attempting to destroy everything. Mario is brought to the town of Flipside, which kind of exists between dimensions, and asked to please stop that from happening. Now, while the plot may sound like it's pretty much set for kind of an RPG experience, Super Paper Mario is actually a hybrid platformer and RPG. The basic framework for the game is essentially an RPG. You're going to be exploring a variety of different towns, going to different areas, collecting artifacts, having boss fights, leveling up, finding items that are useful, all the kind of stuff that you'd expect to see in an RPG. However, the actual gameplay is much more like a platformer. Although Mario is the star of the game, obviously, you're actually going to have a party of 4 total characters that you can swap between at any time. Each one has unique abilities. Super Paper Mario introduces pixels, which are kind of fairy-like creatures that come along and join Mario. Each pixel has a unique ability that you can use either separately or in tandem with Mario, or any of the characters that you currently have selected to do different things. So for example, Boomer is a bomb pixel that you can actually set and detonate. Slim is another pixel that you can use to make yourself paper thin. Now you're actually going to find about 9 pixels over the course of the game that will then come in handy and are actually essential towards progressing and solving some of the more creative puzzles that you'll find in the game. Because one of the cool things about Super Paper Mario is the fact that the design is so inventive. So while the game has a pretty straightforward and kind of linear layout, there's actually quite a bit more to it than that. You'll find that, like an RPG, if you choose to explore the towns and talk to the different non-playable characters that you meet there, you're going to find side quests. On top of that, once you start getting these pixels, you're going to be able to go back to areas that you've previously cleared and potentially get new items, access new areas, and again, possibly pick up some side quests. Now, although Super Paper Mario was originally slated to be a GameCube title, it's made the transition to the Wii pretty effortlessly. The control scheme is about as basic as it gets. You're going to hold the Wii remote sideways, your left finger over the D-pad, and your right thumb over the 1 and 2 buttons. Nintendo and Intelligent Systems have actually been really smart about putting in some very unobtrusive ways of using the Wii remote in the experience. A lot of the items that you're going to use in the game, either during battle or to restore your health or things like that, will require you to use the Wii remote in some way. Whether it's shaking it really rapidly to trigger an attack, or holding it in a specific way at a set time, these are all things that make good use of the Wii remote without being too obtrusive. One of the coolest things about Super Paper Mario is the way the game looks. There is a very inventive art style at work here. The stages are a weird mix of being kind of retro but also kind of new at the same time. There is definitely kind of a retro feel to the whole experience because you are basically going and doing a bunch of platforming that's very classic Mario Brothers. At the same time, a lot of the artwork that's being used is kind of crazy. It's all very smartly done, and there are tons of little touches that you'll notice throughout the game that are very clever. Now, as cool as the game is, there are 1 or 2 rough spots that keep Super Paper Mario from really kind of being a truly classic game. The camera gets a little awkward when you flip in certain areas, making it very difficult to see. The audio in the game, although perfectly fine, is a little underwhelming. The music is good, but there aren't any memorable or standout themes that really kind of stay with you once you leave the game. More importantly, the game sticks a little too faithfully to the model that's been set before, which is very short sound samples for Mario and Peach and Bowser and everyone else. It's not like we're expecting full speech, but the little tiny snippets of speech just really kind of stand out. And finally, the pacing for the game is a little off. The later levels stand out because you'll find that navigating mazes and dealing with waves of enemies is a bit more tedious than some of the stuff that you've been doing prior. Now, despite the odd imperfections, Super Paper Mario still has a ton of charm to spare. The game is fun, it's very playable, it looks great, has a lot of charm, it's very funny, very well written, very well localized, and there's actually a good chunk of content to sort of deal with while you're playing through the main quest, and then after you finish the game, it's possible to go back and continue on with some of the things that you weren't able to finish before you wrapped up the game. So if you've got a Wii and you're looking for a really fun and engaging game, you'll definitely want to go out and pick up Super Paper Mario.